My grandfather tended a grave that was not. His family's not anyone he thought. He had a claim on just a stone he passed one morning that had clearly not been grassed or tended in some years. He stopped and cleared the weeds and came back every month and did keep tending. Some graves choose the person, not the family. He never found out who was buried there. The name once smoothed by weather and the care of nobody for years before he came. He tended it without the need for name. Said a grave that goes untended is a life that goes unwitnessed. Said the stone and strife of being forgotten twice is more than any person deserves. He came through hell or any weather for 20 years to clear the weeds. The grave is pulling me under. I can hear the nameless thunder. 20 years of tending someone else's stone, because the going untended else's tend for me. What has no one left? Grave tended, name gone. 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 Grave tend name gone. Oh, grave tend name gone. Clear come, clear known. Grave tend. After my grandfather died, my father went to the grave to tell it something spent. His life tending it was gone now too. Said he did not know what else to do but come and say it to the nameless stone. Said two people who had never known each other in life were now connected by 20 years of weeding unexpected into something that required a goodbye. They say the dead release the duties that they chose, but my grandfather left a nameless grave still needing tending. I do not need to know whose name the weather took. I only need to clear the weeds in the month he always came. In the month he always came. Trust the nameless stone. My grandfather tended a grave that was not. His family's not anyone he thought. He owed a duty to just a one stone that had been forgotten and left alone. My father went to tell it he was gone. Two strangers connected and still carrying on. Leave your mark, we are still clearing the weeds. The stone is still smooth, the name is still gone. The grave remembers every month someone came who did not have to. Morning my grandfather did not know the house he built with his own hands, the slow unraveling had been coming for some months, but this was different. This was all at once. He stood in the kitchen like a visitor, like someone brought inside by an administrator. Keep standing, some mornings take everything the mind built. He touched the walls the way you touch a wall in someone else's house, the careful small exploratory pressure of a guest. He ran his hand along the window breast and looked out at the garden he had dug for 40 years, as if beneath a rug of unfamiliarity. The known world had hidden, leaving him alone with a kitchen that refused to be his own. The house is pulling me under. I can hear the unrecognized thunder. He stood inside the walls he built and felt a stranger in the life his hands had dealt. Stay for me inside the kitchen. No house, no walk on. House, no walk on. House, house, no walk on. House, house, no walk on. House, no walk on. House, no walk on. Touch, fine touch, no house, no. My grandmother took his hand and walked him through each room the way you walk him through a place you want someone to love. She named each thing, she pointed up above the mantle at the photograph and said, your name is here, your children here. She led him back into the kitchen, made the tea. He held the cup and something in the free warmth of it returned him for a while. They say the dead release the homes they could not hold, but my grandmother walked him through each room until he found it. I do not need the recognition to be permanent. I only need her taking his hand and naming every room for him. Naming every room for him. Trust the hand that leads you through your own house. The morning my grandfather did not know. Oh, the house he built with his own hands, the slow erosion of the known world overnight, leaving him a stranger in his own light. Oh, my grandmother took his hand and walked him through, naming what his hands had always knew. Leave your mark, we are still naming the rooms. The kitchen is still his built, the walls are still his hands. The house remembers, every morning he knew it, and the one he did not.
My grandmother held every cup with both hands, not from weakness, just the way she understands. A hot drink as a thing requiring full Attention, both palms cupped around the pool of warmth. She gave it her complete regard. No handle, just the ceramic heart. Keep holding. Some people teach you how to receive warmth. She passed it on without intending to. The way inheritance moves through the body before the mind has registered. The learning my mother discovered, herself doing it one winter morning, both hands around her cup without a warning, that she had picked it up from watching years of someone else hold warmth against the fears of cold and ordinary winter morning. The cup is pulling me under. I can hear the two hands thunder, both palms against the ceramic every time. A way of holding warmth that crossed the line of generations without being taught. Cup, both hands, hold. Cup, both hands, hold. Cup, 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 both hands, hold, hold, hold. Cup, both hands, hold. Cup, both hands, hold. Cup, both hands, hold, hold, hold. Palm warm, palm noon. Cup, both, cup, both. I noticed my own daughter at the table, 7 years old and perfectly able to hold a cup the ordinary way. But both her palms were wrapped around the clay of her hot chocolate in the morning light. The way her great-grandmother held it right. 3 generations of the same instinct to cup the warmth completely not distinct from love itself, just warmth held in both hands. They say the dead release the gestures that they carried, but my grandmother left her 2 hands in my daughter's mourning. I do not need the teaching to have happened. I only need my daughter's palms around the cup at 7 years old. Around the cup at 7 years old. Trust the both hands. My grandmother held every cup with both hands. Not from weakness, just the way she understands. A warmth worth holding with your full attention. Both palms a kind of bodily intention. My daughter holds a chocolate the same way, getting something right she learned without a day. Leave your mark. We are still holding with both hands. The cup is still warm, the palms are still hers. Ceramic remembers every morning it was fully held. Grandmother kept a drawer of keys, every shape and size among these. Dozens none of us could match to any. Lock remaining in the house, not any. Door, cabinet, or chest or gate, she kept them all regardless of their fate. Keep keeping. Some drawers hold the history of every door you ever opened. We tried them one by one after she passed. A Sunday afternoon that somehow lasted into evening, going room to room, with handfuls of the keys into the gloom of cupboards and the backs of wardrobes, trying every keyhole we could find and buying nothing with the effort, not a single key found.
Said a key without a lock is not a failure. Said each one had opened something earlier in the story of the house. And just because the door was gone did not remove the cost for keeping what had once turned in a lock and let someone through. Said every stock of keys is just a record of trust given. They say the dead released the keys they could not play, but my grandmother kept everyone regardless. I do not need the locks to still exist. I only need the drawer and the Sunday afternoon of trying. The Sunday afternoon of trying. Trust the keyless key.
Dug a vegetable garden in the shadiest corner of the yard, and everyone who saw it said the same, that nothing much would grow there. All the blame of a north-facing slope and too much tree. He dug it anyway, said wait and see, keep digging. Some men choose the wrong place on purpose. First year almost nothing came up right. The second year a little more the light. Found gaps between the branches in the June of the second summer, like a tune that takes two listenings to understand. He stood there with his arms folded and said there it is, said the difficult ground always gives something eventually. The sound of him being right was quiet and complete. The garden is pulling me under. Oh, I can hear the shaded thunder. He dug where nobody else would have dug, and waited 2 full summers for the shrub of something growing in the difficult ground. Garden shady way, garden shady way, garden shady way, garden shade, shade, dig, dig, way, way, way. Garden shade, dig, way. Garden shade, dig, way. Wrong, right, wrong, no, garden shade. By the 5th year, it was the best part of the garden. The shade, it made a kind of love with the particular vegetables that needed less sun than others, and the north had seeded itself with the productivity that proved his instinct. Right the corner that had grooved itself into the family as the wrong choice turned place right. My father put a coat hook in the hall, too high for everyone except the tall version of himself. He hung it at the height of his own shoulder, just like that, without consulting anyone. The rest of us on tiptoe, reaching at our best, keep reaching. Some men build a world to fit themselves without knowing. We complained for years about the hook. He listened with the particular look of someone hearing something they consider. Said who said it is where a hook should be. Said if you cannot reach it, bro, he laughed. The way he laughed at his own jokes, the craft of it entirely lost on him. The hook stayed where it was for 30 years. We took to hanging things on lower handles instead. The hook is pulling me under. I can hear the hallway thunder. Too high for everyone except the man who put it there according to the plan of his own shoulder. Reach for me. Hook high, reach his 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 stretch, hey, stretch, no hook high. Stretch, hey, stretch, no hook high. Stretch, hey, stretch, no hook high. Stretch, hey, stretch, no. My son reached it without trying last September. Stood there in the hall, a new member of the height that fitted what my father built, without the reaching and without the guilt of tiptoe. He just hung his coat and walked away into the kitchen, and I talked to no one in the hall for a full minute, standing at the hook with something in it that was both the loss and the continuation. They say the dead released the marks they left on houses, but that hook stayed too high for 30 years, and then it fit. I do not need the height to be adjusted. I only need my son reaching it without trying in September. Without trying in September. Trust the too high hook. My father put a coat hook in the hall, too high for everyone except the tall version of himself that filled the door. A hook at shoulder height and nothing more. My son reached it last September without a thought, getting to the height. My father always sought, leave your mark. We are still reaching. The hall is still his. The hook is still too high for most. The hallway remembers every tiptoe that fell short of it. Oh, that, the height of his own shoulder, just like that. Without consulting anyone, the rest of us on tiptoe, reaching at our best. Keep reaching. Some men build the world to fit themselves without knowing. We complained for years about the hook. He listened with the particular look of someone hearing something they consider settled. Said it is where a hook should be. Said if you cannot reach it, grow. He laughed. The way he laughed at his own jokes, the craft of it entirely lost on him. The hook stayed where it was. For 30 years we took to hanging things on lower handles instead. The hook is pulling me under. I can hear the hallway thunder. Too high for everyone except the man who put it there according to the plan of his own shoulder. Reach for me. Hook high, reach his. 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 Stretch, hey, stretch, no. Hook high, high, hook high, hook high, oh, high, oh, high. My son reached it without trying last September. Stood there in the hall, a new member of the hype that fitted what my father built without the reaching and without the guilt of tiptoe. He just hung his coat and walked away into the kitchen, and I talked to no one in the hall for a full minute, standing at the hook with something in it that was both the loss and the continuation. They say the dead release the marks they left on houses, but that hook stayed too high for 30 years and then it fit. I do not need the height to be adjusted. I only need my son reaching it without trying in September. Without trying in September. Trust the too high hook. My father put a coat hook in the hall. Oh, too high for everyone except the tall version of himself that filled the door. A hook at shoulder height and nothing more. My son reached it last September without a thought. Get into the height. My father always thought, leave your mark. Ooh, we are still reaching. The hall is still his. The hook is still too high for most. The hallway remembers every tiptoe that fell short of it. Grandfather took me fishing once and said, nothing for the first 2 hours. Instead of explaining anything, just sat beside the water with his line and let the wide, slow patience of the afternoon arrive. On its own terms, said some things only thrive. Keep waiting. Some lessons cannot be told, only sat through. I was 10 and restless in the way that 10-year-olds are restless, and the day seemed endless at the waterside without a single bite to break the endless drought of nothing happening. He did not come.
glance across at me to see if I was still there, still beside the tree, still holding the ride, still in the practice of it. The waiting is pulling me under. I can hear the water sigh thunder. 2 hours of nothing and a glance across to check I had not given up the loss. Wait for me beside the water. Wait, water line sit. Wait, water line sit. Wait, water line sit. Line sit. Wait, water line sit. Wait, water line sit. Wait, water line sit. Wait, water line sit. Hold glass, hold no, wait, water. Hold glass, hold no, wait, water. In the third hour, something took the line, and in the taking, everything was fine. About the waiting, suddenly the 2 hours of nothing opened into new. Meaning beside the water, I understood that afternoon what the waiting could become. If you did not leave it early, if you sat inside it purely, without the need for it to be resolved. They say the dead release the lessons that they showed us, but my grandfather left his waiting in my hands beside the water. I do not need the fish to always come. I only need to sit the 2 hours out without leaving. Without leaving. Trust the third hour. My grandfather took me fishing once and said, nothing for the first 2 hours. Instead of explaining anything, just sat and let the afternoon teach what words could not get. In the third hour, something took the line, and the 2 hours of nothing became fine. Leave your mark. We are still sitting the 2 hours. The water is still slow. The line is still as patient. The afternoon remembers every boy who learned to wait beside it. Wait, water. Wait, water. Wait, water. Wait, water. Wait, water. Wait, water. My grandfather sang one hymn every Christmas, loud and off-key through the entire listless congregation, who sang quietly. He did not just opened up and gave it what he got, which was considerable in volume, if not in pitch. The church absorbed him like a knot. Keep singing. Some voices are too large for correct notes. He had learned it as a boy, and somewhere between the learning and the 60 years aware, the melody had shifted in his head into something adjacent to, instead of what the hymn required. But he never knew or did not care. Said music never hurt anyone who meant it, and he meant it. Every Christmas morning loudly sent it up into the rafters, longing for. The hymn is pulling me under. I can hear the off-key thunder. Every Christmas one man singing wrong, and absolutely certain was gone, the hymn arrived in the service, and the brim of something filled inside the family pew. A silence where the wrong notes used to break through. The careful singing of the congregation. My father cleared his throat in desperation and sang it loud and off-key just like him. Every note wrong, every note a hymn to the man who never cared for correct pitch. They say the dead released the songs they gave the rafters, but my grandfather left his wrong notes in my father's throat. I do not need the pitch to be correct. I only need someone in the family pew singing too loud every Christmas. Singing too loud, singing too loud every Christmas. Trust the wrong notes, singing too loud, song with certainty. My grandfather sang one hymn every Christmas. Oh, loud and off key through the entire listless congregation, certain of every note, wrong and full and filling up his throat. My father sang it after him just as loud, every note incorrect and just as proud. Leave him on. We are still singing wrong. The pew is still his, the rafters are still his. The church remembers every Christmas. He filled it with the wrong notes. Grandfather fished a stretch of river that belonged to someone else, the giver of permission, never asked or granted. He just went the way his father planted him beside that water 40 years before. Said the river was there long before the law. Keep fishing. Some rivers belong to whoever stands beside them. He knew the bailiff, knew the schedule, knew the days and hours when they're watching through. The trees would happen, and he went the other. Times of knowledge passed from father to brother to son across the generations of the family who fished that river up. Someone else's ownership without a license or permission or a doubt that the river would receive them anyway. The river is pulling me under. Oh, I can hear the unlicensed thunder. 3 generations fishing the same bed. A knowledge of the bailiff schedule penned into the blood. Before the paper came, river, fish, bend, no. River, fish, bend, no. River, river, fish, fish, bend, bend, no, no. River, river, fish, fish, bend, bend, no, no. River, fish, bend, no. River, fish, bend, no, no, no. Cast, watch, cast, no. River, fish. My father took me once at 5 in the morning, before the bailiff came without a warning to me or where we were or why we moved. So quietly along the bank he proved by standing in the water to his knee that some inheritances arrive for free of any paperwork he handed me. The rod and showed me where to let it be. Carry the unlicensed band. Oh, my grandfather fished a stretch of river that belonged to someone else, the giver of permission never sought to cross the years. 3 generations waiting without fears. My father took me at 5 in the morning once, showing me the river and its particular stunts. Leave your mark, we are still casting. The bend is still his, the bailiff still comes Tuesdays. The river remembers every foot that waded in without asking.
My father had a silence after calls that filled the hallway and the adjacent walls of whatever room he stood in when he heard news that required a moment before a word could form itself into a useful shape. He put the phone down and stood in the drape. Keep standing, some silences are doing the heaviest work. We learn to read the quality of it, the length of the silence and the fit of his posture, and it told us more than anything he said walking through the door of the kitchen. Afterward, a short one meant something manageable, a long one meant the world had shifted in a way that would require all of us to do what we could to hold the shape of ordinary life. The silence is pulling me under. I can't hear the hallway thunder. Every call that came with weight behind it left him standing in the dark to find it. Stand for me before you tell us. Phone down, stand up. Phone down, stand up. Phone down, down, stand, stand, no, no. Phone down, down, stand, stand, no, no. Phone down, stand up. Phone down, stand up. Here, hold, here, no. Phone down. I catch myself doing it now the same, standing in the hall before I came into the kitchen with whatever news, the call that brought me standing in the shoes of his particular stillness, letting it settle into something I could sit with long enough to carry into the room without the full unmediated gloom of it arriving raw upon the others. They say the dead release the ways they held things, but my father left his hallway silence in my feet. I do not need the calls to stop arriving. I only need the standing in the hall before I speak. In the hall before I speak. Trust the silence after the phone goes down. My father had a silence after calls that filled the hallway and the adjacent walls. Standing in it long enough to find father made pancakes every Sunday morning, without announcement, without any warning. Just appeared in the kitchen before anyone was fully awake. And by the time the sun had reached the table, they were already done, stacked and waiting for whoever came. Keep making. Some rituals ask for nothing in return. He had a particular and heavy pan, blackened from the years, the only man in the house who used it. Said a pan like this takes decades, said you cannot plan. The seasoning, you have to earn it slow, through years of Sunday mornings letting go of any other pan. He said this one knows what it is for. By now he spun the batter thin across the blackened base. The pan is pulling me under. I can hear the Sunday thunder. Every week the same blackened surface gave whatever the batter needed in the nave of a kitchen that became a church on Sundays. Pan, batter, Sunday meat, pan, batter, Sunday meat, pan, batter, Sunday, Sunday meat, meat, pan, batter, Sunday, Sunday meat, pan, batter, Sunday, Sunday, now in my kitchen hung beside the stove the way it always clung to the hook beside the stove I made the pancakes every Sunday for the sake of something I cannot entirely name. The children come before I call them sane, as we did, drawn by something in the air of Sunday morning batter and the rare particular smell of a blackened pan earning its keep. They say the dead release the kitchens that they fed us in, but my father left his Sunday in a blackened pan. I do not need the recipe to be exact. I only need the pan on the hook and the children coming before I call. Coming before I call. Trust the blackened pan. My father made pancakes every Sunday morning, without announcement, without any warning. Appearing in the kitchen before the light had fully found the house, had found its right. My children come now, drawn by the same smell. The pan still knowing what it does so well. Leave your mark, we are still making them. The hook is still his, the pan is still black. The Sunday morning remembers every batter he poured into it. father had a shirt he wore to every thing that mattered, weddings and the very hardest funerals, the job interviews, the hospital appointments and the news, both good and bad, delivered in a room, requiring his best self against the gloom. Keep wearing, some shirts become the armor of a life.
It was not special looking pale blue cotton, nothing that would single it from forgotten. Shirts in any wardrobe unremarkable, except that he had chosen it. The pull of it across his shoulders made him feel whatever feeling it is that makes real the version of yourself you need to be. When something large is asked of you, and he needed that particular feeling often. Shirt is pulling me under. Oh, I can hear the pale blue thunder. Every important thing you wore it to. Funerals and weddings and the interviews. Well, for me, when something large is asked, shirt blue, wear important. Shirt blue, wear. Shirt blue, wear important. Shirt blue, blue, wear important. Shirt blue, blue, wear important, important. Shirt blue, 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 shirt blue, blue, wear shirt blue. Button, stand button on, shirt blue. My brother wore it to his own interview. The year our father died, said he just knew which shirt was needed. Stood before the mirror, in the pale blue cotton, feeling nearer to whatever the occasion asked of him than any shirt he owned along the brim. The wardrobe said it fit him wrong, the shoulders slightly off, but all along the interview he felt our father in the room. They say the dead release the clothes they wore for courage, but that shirt kept every important thing it witnessed. I do not need the shoulders to fit perfectly. I only need my brother. Standing in the pale blue before the mirror. In the pale blue before the mirror. Trust a shirt that does not quite fit right. My father had a shirt he wore to every thing that mattered, through the good and heavy. Days that asked him for his better self. He always took it from the same shelf. My brother wore it wrong and got the job. The shoulders off the courage, not a sob. Leave your mark, we are still buttoning it. The wardrobe is still his, the blue is still pale. The shirt remembers every important room it entered. My father made a promise at a grave when he was 22, the kind you gave before you understood the weight of them, before a promise was a theorem. You had to live inside for 40 years. He made it in the rain through all his tears. Keep promising, some vows are made before we know what vowing costs. He never told us what the promise was, just that he had made it. And because he organized his life around a shape we could not see but always found. At the center of his decisions life a hidden room that everything would strike against and veer away from or toward, depending on the promise and the word. He gave that rainy afternoon at 22.
22.
The promise is pulling me under. I can hear the graveside thunder.
40 years of living toward a vow
Made in the rain
before he understood how.
keep for me what I gave at 22. Promise, grave, rain, keep. Promise, grave, rain, keep. Promise, promise, grave, grave, rain, rain, keep.
Oh,
Promise, promise, grave, grave, rain, rain, keep. Promise,
promise grave,
promise, grave.
promise grave, yeah.
Promise, promise, grave, grave, rain, rain, keep.
Vow, hold, vow, no.
Promise, grave.
He told me at the end what it had been. A simple thing and quietly between him and the person in the ground, a pledge to live without the cowardice, the edge of which he had been standing on that day. He promised he would not go the same way into the dark by his own choosing. Said he made it in the rain above the dead and kept it every day for 40 years. They say the dead
Release the promises they carry.
but my father kept his 40 years without telling anyone. I do not need to know the name,
Beneath the storm,
I only need to know he made
hid in the rain.
at 22 and kept it in the rain at 22 and kept it.
Trust the graveside promise.
My father made a promise at a grave when he was 22, the kind you gave before you knew the weight of what you said. A vow made in the rain above the dead. He kept it 40 years without a word. The quietest promise anyone has heard. Leave your mark, we are still keeping it. The grave is still there, the rain is still his. The promise remembers every day, he chose to honor it.